The way I usually start a new sculpt is by adding a Rigify human and scaling my reference down to match it so I can work on the sculpt at close to real life scale. Then I'll unhide the default cube and add a subdivision surface modifier to it. You can do this without using the modifiers tab by selecting the cube in object mode and pressing Ctrl plus any number from 1 to 5. The number you press will be the number of the subdivisions that is added to the cube. I usually go with around 3, but you can choose whatever you want because since we're just blocking out right now, the amount and density of the geometry doesn't matter, just the shapes that we're making. Adding in another subdivided cube, I move the verts around in the front and side view to make a shape that we can use for the muzzle or jaw. We'll drop in a cylinder for the neck and another subdivided cube for the torso, adding in a couple of loop cuts to give us a few more verts that we can move around to get a better shape. I used a cylinder for the arm, add and scale down a loop cut, and then bevel it with Ctrl B to taper the elbow in. Then another subdivided cube flattened out a bit for the shoulder. Mirror the arms and shoulders, and then add one last subdivided cube for the ear, scale it down on the Y-axis, add a loop cut, then start moving the verts around until you get into an ear shape, then rotate it a bit so it isn't sticking straight out. That's it for the blocking out phase. Apply all the modifiers and join the two spheres that make the head with Ctrl J, then remesh them and we'll start sculpting. We'll start off by carving out the eye sockets by holding Ctrl and using the clay strips brush, subtracting in the eye area and adding in the brow and the mouth area. Then we can start shaping the face with the grab brush. With Draw Sharp, we can rough in the mouth, nose, and the eyes. Everything looks pretty low res at the moment because there isn't a ton of geometry for us to manipulate. To add more details, we'll remesh at a higher resolution. We'll do this in steps, slowly adding in more detail as we add more resolution. We do this because big changes are easier to make at lower resolutions than at higher resolutions. The eyes are just a mirrored sphere that I dropped in. Also went ahead and added a procedural eye material from the Blend Kit add-on. To get some easy eyelids, I duplicated the sphere and scaled it up, then split it in half to make the upper eyelid, and the same thing for the lower eyelid. Then I combined the eyelids to the head, remeshed, and smoothed out the transitions. From here on, I remeshed to a higher resolution so I can start sculpting details. I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to sculpting faces, so I tend to spend a lot of time adding and removing volume, exaggerating things like the sharpness of the plane changes, and then running a smooth brush over them to dial them back a bit, and just moving things around with the grab brush until things look the way that I'm hoping for. After I get the face where I want it, I remeshed the ear and drew a mask for the inner part. Holding Control and click dragging, you can push the unmasked area in. We'll then remesh again and smooth everything out. Then with the Draw Sharp, we'll start pulling out the ridges in the ear. And after joining and remeshing to the head, I use clay strips and then smooth brushing to ease the transition. Now it's time to move on to the body. After a bit of tweaking, I joined the torso and the arms together and smoothed everything out. I added a mirrored subdivided cube for the baubles and started carving in details with Draw Sharp and clay strips. Now, none of these details are going to really matter since it'll all be covered up later on, but sculpting's fun, so I did it anyway. To get the geometry back down to something that I can UV, I set the quad count to 8,000 and ran it through QuadRemesher. Added a multi-res modifier at 2 subdivisions and shrink wrapped it to the original sculpt. After making some quick eyebrows from a plane, I added a subdivided cube for the hair and another one for her bun. To To simulate hair strands, I remeshed the hair at a pretty high resolution and started making strokes with a small clay strips brush. For her bangs and sideburns and braids, I added in some quick geometry as placeholders. I'll come back to those later because I want to get around to making Zelda's Yukata. I started off with a rectangle curve to use as the bevel reference for a path curve that I wrapped around her chest and neck. This will serve as the collar. To get the curve to twist, select Avert and press Ctrl T and tilt it to curve around the way that you want. The main body of the robe is a remeshed cube that I pulled into shape with the grab brush. A squash cylinder is added for the obi belt, then another cylinder for the sleeve. It's at this point I decided to ditch most of the body's mesh since it won't be seen and is only going to get in the way from here on out. I joined the sleeves to the main body of the Yukata and added folds and creases with draw sharp and clay strips. I duplicated a couple of loops and added a solidify modifier to make the thinner belt, then added a flattened round cube in the front for the buckle. At this point I wanted to make a couple of test renders, so I threw together some quick materials. My go-to for colors is an ambient occlusion node into a color ramp into a principled BDSF. I realized from my test renders that I forgot the eyelashes, so I added a single vert and started extruding it around the eye. After looking at it from a few different angles and trying to tweak it, I realized that it wasn't working out, so I started over and made some lashes that were a bit more simple. To replace the temporary bangs, I used a curve path with another rectangle curve that I edited for bevel reference, wrapped the curve around her head, and tapered the end with Alt S and then mirrored it. I used Braids Generator by Carlsue for Zelda's braids. I've made my own before, but it took a little while and it wasn't really that fun to do. So I decided to spend $5 on the generator to speed up the process. It's not an add-on, but it's a set of geometry nodes that you can drop into your blend file, and you can apply it to a curve or an empty hair with a ton of sliders and settings and stuff that you can toy around with. I finished off the hair by adding in some more curves for the sideburns, then converting all of the curves into geometry and sculpting in the fake strands with the clay strips again. Now back to the materials, I created a new image and started painting her makeup in texture paint mode. A little bit of red around her eyes and cheeks and nose and mouth and ears is just about all you need on the face. The flower on her yukata is a sleeping princess, which isn't a real flower, so finding a stencil that I can use for her texture isn't gonna happen. So we're gonna have to make our own. So what I did was I brought in Bella Hinge's original concept into Photoshop. I grabbed a painterly brush and started layering colors, tracing over the sleeping princess, made the background transparent, and brought it into Blender to use as a stencil. I added in 3 bones and parented them to the body with automatic weights, then selected all of her hair parts and parented them to the topmost bone, the head bone. Her jaw was a little crooked when I went to pose her, so I had to repaint the weights for the head. And the last thing, make a backdrop from a plane, dump in a bunch of lights and point a camera at her, then hit F12 to render. Thanks for watching. You can download this model for free from my Gumroad. The link is in the description. I'm at Brand Sculpts on Instagram and at Nasaki on Twitter. Go check out at Bellhinge on Twitter to see more cool Nintendo art. Oh, and if you'd like to learn more on how I created the skin shader or how I use stencils to stamp the flowers on Zelda's Yukata, then check out the video on the left. Or if you're up for watching some more sculpting videos, you can check out the playlist on the right.